going to dance. We're going to dance. We're going to dance and have some fun.
All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The groove is in the heart. You are listening to KBCZ 90.1 FM Boulder Creek Community Radio. This is the Divine Groove Hour. It's Wednesday. We are almost to the fall equinox, which I believe happens tomorrow. And we have a full moon coming up here this weekend. And it has been a crazy ride this week. We will get into our show here in a minute after we hear a little bit of words from our underwriter.
This hour of broadcasting is brought to you by the Santa Cruz Cider Company.
All right, that was Happy, and I played that because I want to make you all happy today, and that's what my goal is for the day, for the hour. Thank you, listeners, for listening. I love to get your little notes and your messages. They are so uplifting, and they help me keep going when times get tough, and I've had a couple tough days. Remember last week when I was talking about the Energy Surf Report, and I was talking about be careful and look for, be careful and look for the depression and the sadness to creep in. Well, it has with many people, and it has a little bit with myself. The last couple days, I felt really, really dense, intense energy, almost kind of where I was hitting a brick wall with a lot of things. And I have had to many times throughout the days, the last 3 days, to pull back, go meditate, do some self-care, remind myself that I love myself and that things are okay and this too shall pass and all those wonderful sayings that we know and love and that help us get through. And even this morning as I drove here, I had so many hardships to even get here. And in my mind, it was like talking myself out of, I just want to go back to bed. I don't even want to go do the show. I just want to go back to bed. I want to just let go of everything. And it was a lot of having to push through and say, no, I'm going to step up. I'm going to keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to let go of control. And it's 11:11 as I say that. I'm going to let go of control and just go with the flow. And that is what we're doing today. So I'm going to give you a summary of what my energy report was, and that is we're moving into Libra. This is a time of the energy balancing out. Yesterday in numerology was a 9-9 day. You take the 18 and you add them together and that makes 9. Nines are all about ending things, letting go, starting anew. This is an 11 year, which is a year of illumination, bringing things to surface and making huge, huge changes, things that are going to be on a deep, deep level. So I encourage you to journal, meditate, start letting go, bring out your own self-style, find things that resonate with you. And it's perfect. This is all a perfect fit for the guests that I have today. Today I have on the Divine Groove, Joe Clements. And I've known Joe for like 20 years now. I met him when I landed a job at Sessions. He and his wife actually helped me out once, helped my daughter and I out once when we needed a place to stay. And I so appreciate that. I always think about how awesome that was for you guys to help me out. And the last couple of years, I've noticed Joe doing some deep, great work. And so I invited him to come on today. Welcome, Joe.
Hi, hello.
So you're a local musician. I'm going to have you
yeah, how do I make this
hug
work?
that
Right there?
mic
All right,
there.
all right. Cool.
So, Joe, you're a local musician. You've been in a couple punk bands. What are the names of the bands that you've been in? So the listeners might...
Shoot. In Santa Cruz, band called Fury 66.
Fury 66,
yeah,
that's the one
in
that...
the 90s, yeah. And before that was Schlepp, was one of the first bands, in the 90s. And then Audio Crush. And then with Jen Roy.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Sessions.
Yeah.
And I don't know if were you there when Jen Roy? Anyway.
I don't know, yeah.
She worked there, and we did a band, and then a band called Turn Down. And, then after that, what did I do? forget, it was like a hiatus, I guess, and now I'm doing a band called the Deathless.
Okay.
Yeah,
And we're going to talk about one of your songs in a little bit. Yeah. But what I really wanted to talk about was your managing Darma Punk in Santa Cruz. So can you tell us a little bit about what is Darma Punk? I try to explain it to people, but I want to hear how you explain it.
How I explain Darma Punks.
Yeah. So it's a book, right?
Well, yeah, it's a...
or a concept.
It's a book.
It's a book.
But before it was a book, it was 4 friends. It was 4 of us that lived in Santa Cruz, and Noah Levine, Vinny Ferraro, and Micah Anderson, and myself. And we were in early recovery back then, and started looking into a spiritual path. Noah's dad is a writer, Peter Levine. He does he did A Year to Live and a bunch of other books. A Buddhist teacher. And so we were getting into some of that, and we got into like Hare Krishna and Sufism and a little bit of Buddhism, and but we were just punk kids,
right?
And we were kind of going off the Dharma bums kind of thing, and so that kind of how it started, just like experimenting, checking out different spirituality, and they 3 of them, Micah, Vinny, and Noah, went to India and pursued their spiritual journey. And I was in a band, Fury 66 back in the day, and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of want to try this rock star thing. I was trying my best,
right?
Right. So I went a different path.
Yeah.
But that's where
which is okay.
Yeah, and that's where it
we
started.
all do that
for sure. No regrets with it. It was just one of those things. It was an interesting time, early '90s. I think '93, '94, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, right around that area. Yeah, but yeah, and so they went to do their thing, and all became teachers. And Noah wrote a book called Darma Punks, and it's about it's a memoir of him growing up in Santa Cruz. We grew up going to punk shows down in Santa Cruz in the early '80s, and growing up here, punk rock, suicide attempts as an early kid, drugs, alcohol, incarceration, and then finding meditation in actually being incarcerated in the juvenile hall here in Santa Cruz.
And this was Noah's life.
This was Noah's life. So that's where the Darma Punks book came, and then from that, just a little bit of a movement. So it was like all these misfit toys that probably wouldn't get into Buddhism really, or even the practice of mindfulness, because it was not our thing. It was it was it's for maybe the hippies, the hippie culture or whatever. Yeah. So we're like, no way.
Yeah.
But it turned on to some people, and that's how it turned me on. Was like, because I was like, no, meditation was never for me. I can't stop my mind. That was my first misconception. Yeah. And 2, it's like, nah, it's some hippie stuff I'm not really into. I'm a punk, don't you know, right?
Yeah.
Little do you know, I'm the biggest hippie now. I feel like I just, you know what I mean? It's my inner woo.
Yeah.
I like to say, but and so that's the punk or the Darma Punks thing now is it's peer-led groups around. There's a Darma Punks New York, and it's just it's nothing more than that. Just some groups. It's a group for anybody's welcome. You know what I mean?
You don't have to be into punk.
No, not at all. It's the Darma Punk Santa Cruz is beautiful. It's just a hodgepodge of all kinds of people. And a lot of new practitioners. It's a really nice segue. I like. For me, my practice is a little more on the secular side. So it's more of a practical way of living. Kind of the Buddhist teachings and like how are we not just in the cushion, but I like to say how are we living from the cushion to the street, right?
Okay.
From the seat to the street,
right?
Because we can be like, oh, that was such a great 15 minutes, and then we're out in the world and it's like
it's crazy. I know.
So how does that translate? How can our practice be seamless? So that's veering off the Darma Punks. It's hard to describe. It's just a group, it's not maybe a movement, Noah might have a different view on it, but for me, it was a segue into this practice that has saved my life in so many ways. Right. Because I was really not into it until I'm like, oh, I don't have to change everything. I can be who I am.
Right.
And finding out that a punk isn't even who I am. It's this exterior shell
Right.
of like what I thought I needed to be.
Well,
to
I
get
think,
through life.
I think labeling yourself one thing is never going to work, no matter what the label is, because we're so dimensional and there's so many different facets to yourself that, even labeling, people call me a hippie. It doesn't resonate with me. Gypsy resonates with me a little bit more than hippie,
Like it.
but I just don't like labels. I feel like, some days I'm one way and some days I'm another. In certain settings, I can be different. I can kind of adapt myself to whatever situation. If I'm hanging around with a high maintenance chick, I may feel high maintenance that day. You know what I mean? So
sure,
you
yeah.
just, I don't know. It's all a flow, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then, the punks, even, that's just it's against the norm,
Right.
And so that's what
Right.
I even like about mindfulness practice, meditation practice in Buddhism, is it's against the norm. It's
Yes.
against everything that we've been told our whole life.
Oh, totally.
Go, get.
Yeah.
This is like, no, chill, sit,
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Not do, be.
Yeah.
So it is a kind of a punk movement, really.
Yeah.
It's against what society's been telling us, and humanity's been telling us.
I definitely believe that. And we're going to take a break, and I'm going to play Give Peace a Chance because I feel like it's fitting.
I love it. Yeah,
So we'll take a break, and we'll be back with Joe in a little bit. So give peace a chance. So I wanted to ask Joe, how do you give peace a chance? If you are feeling overwhelmed with sadness, let's say I'm a 15-year-old, I'm an adolescent, because you kind of specialize in adolescence, right? Or do you?
Yeah, I do. I work at the juvenile hall.
So let's say I'm 15, I'm going through a lot of struggles at home, I'm really depressed and sad, and I come to your group. And I'm like, I just don't have it. I just don't know how to do this. I don't know how to meditate. What advice would you give someone that's in that state?
I don't know how to do what.
I don't know how to meditate. I don't know how to bring peace to myself. You know, it's just all chaos in my home. You know, especially when someone's got a chaotic home. That's that's tough. I grew up in a chaotic home. It's tough.
Yeah. And that's it right there is normalizing it.
Right.
Seeing. And I've noticed the youth just want to be seen, want to be heard.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, I see that's super difficult. And to tell a youth to just meditate is like, yeah, right.
Yeah, they're like, yeah.
Yeah,
how do
right.
I do that?
Yeah, exactly. And
when I sit, the bad feelings come up.
But
right?
yeah, for sure. And that's it, right? So, yeah, and it's so, you know, it's retraining the mind. Is what I'm talking about. And it's something that you're not just going to mess up.
Right.
Right. It's so it's like retraining the mind. We have these dog minds, right? And we're like the thoughts are bones, you know,
Okay.
they're like a big Labrador in front of us,
Okay.
right? And I have this bone and the Labrador, if I'm waving the bone in front of the Labrador, what's it doing? It's following the bone, has no choice, kind of like us with our thoughts. Like,
Okay.
I just got to take care of it. I got to take care of it.
Right.
Throw the bone. Where's the Labrador going?
It's going to go to the bone.
No choice. And where's the bone coming back? Right in front of me, right?
Right.
Just like our thoughts. We're chasing it. They never really go away.
Right.
Because we're just so fixated on them.
Yeah, you can push them away, push them down, but
They're going to come
back.
back. And they're, you know, it's like holding a balloon underwater or a beach ball underwater. It's like nothing to see here.
Yeah.
You let go and it's all boink.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I feel like with meditation, with mindfulness, just coming back to the breath. Coming back to your feet on the floor. What's real in this moment? Mindfulness is just present time awareness. Present time, non-judgmental awareness. What's going on? What's real here, right? The thoughts are, you know, yesterday, tomorrow, you know,
Right.
pictures or dreams.
Right.
So with that, we're training our minds to be more like a lion, you know. So
Okay.
a lion's in front of me now. Now picture a lion right here, right?
Okay.
And I have a bone. And I'm
Okay.
waving that bone in front of that lion. What's the lion doing?
I don't know. What?
Just looking at the bigger bag of bones, me,
Look
right?
at you.
Yeah, yeah.
Wanting to eat
right?
you,
Just
not the bone.
yeah, just stoic, looking at the
Right.
bigger picture. I throw the
Right.
bone. That thing's not chasing the bone. It's staying, you know. And so that's what we're training the mind to do is just watch. Just like you were saying, like I like sitting here and watching the cars and the people go by. And if we can do that with our thoughts, we can.
Right.
Just going by, like we're watching traffic.
Right.
But sometimes, you know, like me, I like hitchhiking. I'll jump in one of those cars and I'm off to another place. But
Yeah.
when I realize that, I'm like, oh, okay, I can just get off at the next stop.
Right.
So that's it. It's just coming back to this moment over and over, and that's retraining the mind.
And you know what lions represent to me, because I'm a tarot reader? Strength.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's
For
like,
sure.
it's how strong are you with your mind? Are you going to let the monkey take you away, right?
Sure.
The monkey mind, or are you going to sit there with the strength?
And the mind might take us away a million times.
Yeah.
But it's not how many times you're drifting off. It's how many times, because every time you notice that just means you returned.
Okay.
So we're so focused on like, oh, I'm thinking again.
Yeah.
But when you say I'm thinking again, you're in the moment.
Okay.
You're noticing thinking. You're noticing
Okay.
thought. So the more we do that, it's like mental push-ups. The more we do that, the more we calm. We calm it's all this psychological stuff, the frontal cortex. It's
Right.
like falls down and we calm. And then when we're in this calm state, Thich Nhat Hanh, I think, I forget, I always say the wrong teacher, but talks about the calming our mind like a clear forest pool. Right? We calm our mind and it's a clear forest pool that all kinds of fascinating creatures come to drink from.
Okay.
Doubt, worry, joy. So when we're calm, yeah, all those emotions are going to come, but we're in a calm state. We can just watch them, let them come drink, see them. And once they do their thing, they'll pass.
Right.
And we start seeing the impermanent nature of our thoughts and of our emotions, right? Rather than if we're shooing them away. If you're shooing away, like, let's say a tiger or something of doubt,
Right.
it's going to stay coming at you.
Right. Right.
So we just, we observe it. And just, of course, that's there. And that's doubt, or that's, whatever we name it. So when we're calm, we can kind of get into the emotions. That's a whole another. So that's kind of going off what I would say to the youth, but that's kind of been powerful for me. Mm-hmm. So going into rehabs and juvenile halls, that's all we're doing is just calming the mind. We're not pushing away emotions. We're not pushing away thoughts. We're learning to be with them. We're learning to see them and watch them pass.
Okay.
They're impermanent, and they're not us. They're not truly who we are.
Right.
They're just these ephemeral, I think is the word, just these passing things, but we take it so personal.
Situation.
Yeah, it's never going to go away.
Yeah.
And it will, but it's like sadness, like you said, like sadness is, that's a feeling, right? Sadness is like the surface feeling. There's a lot underneath. Mm-hmm. So can we be with sadness? Do we have to get rid of sadness?
No.
Can that be, like, can we hold sadness is something that's going on, right? Because we're so like, oh, I can't be sad. I can't be mad.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's happening right now. And can I hold that like any of my experience?
Yeah.
You know? Jeff Foster, I don't know if you've heard Jeff Foster. Have you heard?
No, I've never heard. Mm-mm.
Great poet, but I always read his stuff. But he has a poem, if you don't mind me reading it.
Please, go for it.
And it's titled "If You Are Feeling Sad."
Oh, awesome! Perfect temp.
Yeah. If you are feeling sad, you are not in a low vibration. You are not sick or broken, or unenlightened, or far from healing. You are not trapped in your ego or stuck in the separate self. You are not being negative. You don't need to be fixed. And sadness is not a mistake, because it's life moving in you, and life can't be a mistake, ever. You are just feeling sad, that's all. It's a feeling state playing out on the vibrantly alive movie screen of presence, that's all. It's not a problem that requires a solution or a band-aid. It's a sacred and precious part of you longing for love, acceptance, embrace, rest. You've been blessed by sadness today. You've been chosen as her home. Don't run away from such a truly precious visitor.
Wow, I love that.
You know what I mean? So it's what it's saying to me is hold sadness.
Right.
Hold any of our experience. We're so like, okay, even in meditation, okay, how do I get rid of this? It's like, how can I be with this?
Right.
How can I meet this? You know, how can I be with sadness? How can I love this? You know?
Yeah.
You know, because if your daughter was coming to you sad, how would you hold her?
Right, exactly.
How can we hold ourselves in sadness?
Yeah,
you know?
and see, that's the thing. I think that the lesson of sadness is to learn to love yourself, to be with the sadness, to comfort yourself, right? Because we only have ourselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of society teaches us to go out and find happiness, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I feel sad, so I'm going to go buy something. I'm going to go drink something.
Yep.
I'm going to go take something, right? So that I don't have to feel this sadness.
And then it's a temporary Band-Aid. And it comes back, sometimes even worse.
Most of the time.
Most of the time it's worse. So
Yeah.
the more that we sit with things, you know, and it's difficult, and it's like, it's not just endure things sometimes, but how are we meeting it?
Right.
Are we meeting it with acceptance and some love? Some kindness. So when it does, because it will pass.
Yeah.
It will.
Yeah.
You know, we said that earlier, you know, it will pass.
This too shall pass.
Yeah. And when it comes back, because it will, it's familiar. We're like, oh, I remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not as sticky.
Right.
Just like, you know, sadness, I really feel is like a surface emotion, a surface feeling. There's something underneath.
Right.
So if we can sit with the sadness, we can see what's underneath that.
Right.
There's, you know, there might be something else underneath the sadness. What is not being met in me? Is some abandonment? Some, you know, that's
like you said, not being heard. Yesterday, I felt
Not
like
being
my
heard.
sadness was about not feeling heard.
Sure,
I was
for sure.
not feeling heard
Yeah.
with some people that I was trying to deal
For
with.
sure.
And you know, I'm lucky that I can figure out what my emotions are. A lot of people can't.
Yeah.
And so that's why we try to put this information out so people can recognize You know, where is it coming from?
Yeah. I like in working with addicts and people in traumatized situations, I really love like the somatic experience of things, right? Like asking not why you feeling this way, but what are you feeling? And what do you, where do you feel it?
Right, exactly.
Because sometimes I don't even know what I'm feeling, but I know where I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
There'll be like a tightness in the chest, a heaviness in the stomach.
Yeah.
So, okay, breathe into that.
Right.
Hold it, even put your hands on it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're seeing, there's doubt or there's worry.
Yeah.
There's frustration, whatever it is. And then when that, you can see, what it is and watch that pass.
Right.
And a lot of that, and I say trauma, not these like huge traumatic things, but it's just could be little things that we're holding on to, like you were saying. Yeah.
Little things like, for a teenager, a girl in school just talking about you is a trauma.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Exactly. Where you're perceived. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
That's
where
a
you're
trauma.
running with that. So that hurts. I don't feel seen. I don't feel heard. And so do we stuff that down, or can we be with it and express it in a positive way, rather than trying to get rid of it, right? Because there is a compassionate response is just holding it, but then how do we answer that with a compassionate answer, a response, right?
Yeah.
Compassion, the holding, but then not fixing, but do we talk to someone? Do we do some meditation, some self-care, like you're talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just being with the sadness, does that help let it go?
Yeah. Well, I think so. Yeah, because
I think so too.
I for sure, because like when people just let it go, I'm like,
it's so tough to hear
it's
that.
like, right. Every time I let it go, like I think, okay, I let it go, and it's right here in front of my
Exactly.
face. So I'm like, ugh. So I feel like what just helped me with that was just like letting it be.
Yeah.
This right now it's like this.
Yeah.
Just letting it be, and it doesn't mean that it's nice. It doesn't mean that I love it.
Yeah.
But can I at least not hate it?
Yeah.
It's just here. And then the more I'm with it, the more it's not there. It's like that buzzing in the background.
Right.
You're like, that's so annoying. And then you just do whatever, and then you don't notice that buzzing's there
anymore. Yeah.
Same kind of thing. You're not pushing it away. You're just letting it be. And I feel like that's a part of letting it go.
Right.
And letting it go doesn't mean you're pushing it away. You're just opening your grip on it. So you're not getting rope burn. Letting it be in whatever capacity it needs to be in right now.
And I think sometimes too, just being with something, if it gets so intense, write it.
Write it, yeah, for sure.
Or yell it out.
That's
sometimes
great.
I yell things out at home, and there's no one around, and I'm just like yelling to get it out, because sometimes it can get really intense, and that's where I think we hear a lot about suicides and things, because I think that energy got so intense for that person that they just didn't know how to let it out.
Yeah.
And so writing, just don't think you're crazy to yell something out. Pick up a pillow and scream in it. Whatever you need to do, listen to some punk music and dance, right? And just let that flow
for sure.
and get it out.
For sure.
And seek help if you if it gets too intense.
Absolutely.
So, seeking help, I want to know where's your group?
Help.
Why don't you tell the listeners where your group is, how they can show up?
Yeah. Right now, Darma Punks is down at Insight Santa Cruz.
Okay.
And I don't want to say the address because I don't know it totally. I think it's 740 Front Street. It's right behind.
It's in Front Street.
Yeah, it's right behind Mobo Sushi.
Okay.
And that's Insight Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And every Tuesday at 7 is Darma Punk's group, and it's I'm facilitating it most of the time, and I have guest facilitators in there once in a while as well. And we'll do a short description of what we're going to meditate. Like last night, we did Admirable Friends. It's what to look to in friends, and Sangha is community, and it's something that we take refuge, we take shelter in. It's community. It's huge. It's Buddha said it's the everything of the practice is community. So talked about that last night, and we did a meditation on mudita, which is appreciative joy, empathetic joy, appreciative joy for the joy in our life, and then sympathetic, empathetic joy for experiencing, sharing other people's joy, and so did a meditation on that.
Okay.
So like a 15-minute description, 30-minute meditation, a little stretch break, introducing each other, community building, and then a little short Dharma talk afterwards, as I talked about taking refuge in Sangha and admirable friends. Yeah.
Awesome.
Kalyanamita is what the sutta is. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we will be back with Joe after we hear the Beatles. Let It Be. I had I had somebody call me up and tell me to play the Beatles today, and then it just seemed to fit. Joe was talking about letting it be, so here we go with that. We'll be back after this.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
All right, perfect song for what we're talking about. And I actually found a post on Joe's Facebook page, and I asked him about it, and he told me it was one of his songs. So we're going to have Joe play it for us whenever he's ready. It talks about suffering, and I'll just let Joe sing it.
So yeah, this song's called. The band I do is called the Deathless, and
okay,
it's a Buddhist-inspired punk band.
Okay.
So all the lyrics are stuff that I've learned from the practice of Buddhism.
Nice.
And some of the practices that I teach, I practice myself. So yeah, it's an interesting thing.
It's an interesting mix.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get this interesting mix of the punk and the like. It really is. Yeah. It really is.
It's a great dichotomy of two different worlds. It's such a beautiful thing, and if we can, everything is okay.
It is.
There's room for everything.
Definitely.
Yeah. So samsara is the cycle of birth and death.
Okay.
And we're trapped in samsara when we're chained to doubt, worry, all those things, and it's like the meditation, the mindfulness breaks those chains. Mm-hmm. Being with it breaks the identifying with the doubt, the worry, the sadness. So the song is trapped in samsara, fettered to the hindrances. I'm bound. Okay. So the fetters is shackles. And Polly. Anyway.
All right.
So yeah, I'll do my best. Okay, so this is actually a punk song that is really loud and fast.
Okay, well.
So I'm going to do it acoustic.
Wake up, Boulder Creek.
No, I'm going to do it acoustic. All right. Trapped in samsara, fettered to the hindrances, I'm bound. I see you fear, restlessness and doubt. I see you sloth, I see you torpor. I will not fight, I welcome you all here. Drink from the heart pool, may I learn to love you and see that you're not made. Act 2. Even with my heart wide open and seeing clearly, the authentic self is still clouded by conditions and egocentricity. But I know in my heart that love is the path to freedom and authenticity. I'll never be the same again, 'cause I dedicate my life to truth and compassion. Jewel in the Lotus. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Beautiful. Yay.
I was getting for Clements.
Where can you see? Where do you guys play at?
Shoot, right now we don't have anything really booked. It's basically just me writing songs, and some friends come in. We collaborate some stuff together. So I'm recording right now.
Okay.
I got the studio, and I do a little bit of recording still.
All right, so we'll have to announce that at a later date.
Cool,
Joe
for
will
sure,
keep
for sure.
keep me up to date and tell me when you're around, and I'll let the listeners know. But
Okay.
they can follow you, right? Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, Deathless. Deathless
Okay.
SC is Facebook. Joe Clements on
Yeah.
Facebook. I'm not good at the
You're
social
not good at
media
the social
thing.
media, I know.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. Do my best.
Okay.
But yeah, come down to Insight Santa Cruz and support.
Yeah, check out the meditation.
Yeah.
And I took my daughter once to see Noah speak in the city. Mm-hmm. She was like 15, I think, and I thought it would be a good thing for her to check out his talk, because he talked about his life and everything, and really interesting.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting that he grew up with a meditation parent.
Yeah.
And that he still ended up in a lot of trouble as a teen, and I thought, wow, that's kind of odd. Yeah. But now, being a parent and living this life of teaching yoga and meditation and that kind of stuff, I get it.
Yeah. Did you want to do anything your parents were doing?
Exactly.
No way.
So
Do the exact
I totally get
opposite.
it.
Yeah. It was interesting. It's in the book too. It's like, and I tell because I go to the juvenile hall every Thursday here in Santa Cruz, and I go because Noah started practicing meditation in that juvenile hall.
Okay, so that's how it all started.
Yeah, he called his dad, and he's like, "Dad, get me out of jail," and he got out of here. And his dad goes, "No, maybe when you're breathing in, just know that you're breathing in, and when you're breathing out, know that you're breathing out." Wow. And Noah, of course, said probably what you think he said to his dad, and get me the heck out of this place. Yeah. But he's like, I have no other choice, and did, and that's where he's like, oh, there's a little freedom. Yeah. There's a freedom within these bars. Yeah. You're not even these physical bars, but the mental bars, you know? So there is freedom, and that's the message to the youth in there, that the freedom is within. Right. So
your choices brought you to this place of where you're at.
Yeah, and it's just, and you gotta, where these youth are coming from too, it's like, step out their door, and it's like, there's a system within the system, so it's like, how are you making choices dependent on what you really want to do, not what everybody else is saying you should do or you're influenced to do, so empowering the youth is a huge thing for me. I feel like if we can listen to our youth and give them the tools that they need, because we push away our youth and our elderly. There's a proverb, I think it's a African proverb that says, if we don't initiate the youth into the village, they'll burn it down for the warmth of the fire. So it's how are we initiating the youth? Yeah. We're saying, no, you got to be this way, succeed. And it's like, it's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot going on with the youth that it's crazy. I've already raised my kid and went through that, and I would not want to do it again now. Yeah. Because there's this whole gender thing too.
Yeah, for sure.
There's like all these new things that and all the technology, and everything's fast, and it's a crazy time.
So it's been really powerful, the work I do. Another group at a rehab for the youth as well. Do 2 youth groups in Santa Cruz, and then the rest are adult groups that I go to rehabs and bring in mindfulness. Just tool to like be not even okay, but be with what is.
Yeah,
you know, and
definitely.
there's a solution, and
Yeah.
there's a way to respond rather than the reaction that we've been doing.
Yeah. Well, I commend you on your work.
Yeah,
Joe.
thank you. I appreciate you
And
having
I'm-
me up.
and
Yeah.
I'm
It's cool
honored-
to see you. It's been so long.
Honored to have known you for so long.
You've seen many incarnations of Joe Clements.
I have totally seen the growth as you have seen in me,
yeah,
I'm
both
sure.
of them beautiful.
Because I was a mess when I first
yeah.
came to town. But yeah, so that's all we have for today. And thanks, Joe. And I hope you guys end up at one of his meditations. I try to get there myself sometimes, but you know, we'll get there at some point. And next week I have a shamanic healer coming on. Her name's Lori, and she's a local, and we're going to talk more about what else you should have in your kitchen. I kind of touched on this last week, what you should have in your kitchen to help you with cold and flu season and just overall well-being. I'm really excited to have her come in because this is a topic that I love, something that I teach myself. And I just wish all the listeners much love. And I hope that we helped you in some way, and that if you are feeling sadness, you're able to sit with it or get some much needed help, and many, many blessings. So I'm going to go out with a superhero because I want everyone to feel like a superhero today. And next up is Mouse Cat, and I wish you all many blessings. Namaste.
Ah!